Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Jamie and Marcus here.
Welcome to Wine Time Live, episode number 30.
Number 30.
Number
Wow.
30. It's
Awesome.
not plan A, it's
Plan B.
Plan B.
Plan B.
Second choice.
Yes. This wine has a great story. So we are going to be talking about an awesome vineyard in Baja, California, in Valle de Guadalupe.
Valle de Guadalupe.
And this wine is called Plan B.
Plan B.
From Bruma, one of our favorite wineries.
Can we, before we
let's backtrack.
Can we talk about our sponsors?
Absolutely. And I'm going to
Like
open a bottle of wine.
Like our own restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
All this is possible because we own Aromatime Bistro in Ellenville, New York, located 90 miles north of New York City in the beautiful Catskills and Hudson Valley, along the Shawangunk Mountain Range. Certified green. We were the first certified green restaurant in upstate New York from the Green Restaurant Association. And if you're ever up this way, please stop in, say hello to us, grab a bite, grab a glass of wine, a bottle, grab an experience. And
we're located at 165 Canal Street in Ellenville. You said Ellenville, but you didn't say 165 Canal. And our second sponsor is VIP Winery Vacations. We are a travel business. We travel across the world at this point, right? From one part to the other, Italy, Mexico, Finger Lakes, Long Island, Spain. And we'd love for you to travel with us and experience amazing wineries and amazing people and relationships.
Amazing people.
So part of this story today, right?
Well, our show's never about the wine.
It's never about the wine, but
it's about the story. It's about the lifetime memories that we have made at wineries. The other day before we left from Mexico.
Are we finished talking about the sponsor first? VIP Winery.
VIPWineryVacations.com. Check us out. Come travel with us. Lifetime memories are not optional.
No, I love that saying. They're not optional. Everybody should have lifetime memories in whatever they love to do, you know, and I think travel, is our passion. And I think most people love to travel.
You love to travel.
And, traveling and what is it? Lifetime memories are not optional. So
we love traveling. We love meeting people.
We really do love.
We love meeting people.
We love people.
We love people. We love the relationships we form and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic.
We've been building relationships for over 18 years, not only with our guests at Aromatime, but also while traveling, our guests that travel with us, the wineries we go to, the breweries, the distilleries, the producers, the farms, the everything. We just love building that relationship with them.
Can I tell a quick story before we jump into the wine?
Oh, I guess so.
Okay.
You love to talk, so it's all good.
When this whole thing, as a young chef, I was told by my mentors that it takes up to 10 years for a chef to develop his own style of food and his own whereabouts of, so when you're like a 21-year-old chef and you think you're opening a restaurant, you haven't really had time to really understand what your true style is. You might like certain things, you haven't experienced enough. So 10 years, they say, is what it takes to really develop who you are as a chef. And I got to tell you, 10 years into my career, I discovered that it's great to make people happy at the table. It's great to serve 5-star food. It's great to make guests happy, but it's even better to make the producers happy and form relationships and make the whole thing go around. And that's when I felt complete as a chef, was when I could sit down with the farmer, the rancher, the producers, the salespeople, people who own the company, sit down and have, I could call them my friends.
That's part of your mission as well. That's part of our mission.
It is.
It's a part of Aromatime's mission. It's part of VIP Winery Vacations mission. It's part of our lifestyle.
It's what drives us.
It's really a lifestyle to build those memories and to build relationships.
Relationships.
So everything we do pretty much builds on a relationship. So.
All right. So now.
I tasted the wine already. I'm sorry.
Did you? That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Plan B. Who makes it? Where's it at?
So Plan B is from Bruma in Valle de Guadalupe. Sorry, if you want to hold that up closer, see if you can see it. Bruma. This wine is called Plan B. It is Grenache, Mourvedre, Merlot, Malbec, and Cabernet Sauvignon. I love the name. And, it's funny because I took my first sip, right? But I don't know, when you're sitting at the winery drinking it, it's delicious, it's wonderful, and I love what Bruma's doing. But when you're sitting at the winery with the winemaker and talking about the vineyards and the wine experience and what it actually means, the name of the wine, and it's just a totally different experience. But this wine is absolutely delicious.
This wine is
It's
dynamite.
It really
Dynamite.
is. But what a different experience you get when you're sitting at a table drinking wine and they're opening more and more wine.
More wine.
And
All right, so let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
We've been to Bruma before.
Twice
In the last 2 months in Valle de Guadalupe. It's the northern part of the valley on the way to Tecate.
Yes.
So if you kept going on the road north through the valley in Valle de Guadalupe, you will end up in Tecate.
There's a tree on the back here. Oh, there's a tree right there. So talk about when you walk up to Bruma and your experience as you are walking up.
So you pull into the gate, the security lets you in. It's tight security in all the vineyards, all the places down there. They just check everybody and they want to make sure, if you're going on property, in any location, restaurants too, that, you're have a reservation. That's part of their whole protocols. Reservation. What's your name? Let me check you off.
To make sure that everybody's safe.
Well, of course. It's just
it's part of their protocol.
Part of their protocol. And so you drive down through this vineyard, this long vineyard, and you can see the houses up there that they rent out. You can see the winery on the hill there. You really can't see the winery yourself because it's buried in the ground.
Yeah.
But you see the hill where the winery is. So you pull up, you're like, okay, park here, walk up this hill.
Oh yeah, straight up a hill.
So you walk up, and it's not that far of a hill, but it is up. You have to walk literally like 3 stories up.
And once you get up to the top, you realize why you're walking up, because then you're walking down to
get back into the winery.
So on top of the winery, right? On top of the winery, is this the picture I just took?
Yeah.
So on top of the winery is this beautiful, what is it, 300-year-old oak tree that I believe they transplanted it, or was it there?
It was a dead, dying oak tree on the property.
Okay.
And they, of course, preserved it and made it the focal point of the winery. So as you walk up the hill, you see the water and this oak tree branches coming out. The water is actually the top of the tasting room.
Yes.
So now you're above the tasting room. So now guess what? You have to walk back down to get into the winery. So you walk around and down in.
And it's a circular winery. And when you walk back down and you can see the glass all around the inside of the circle, it's actually an octagon.
Circular.
It's actually an octagon because it represents the 8 partners.
That's right.
So it's an octagon shape, but it kind of looks round.
So yeah,
but it's
round, but it's octagon. You're right, it's octagon.
And it represents the 8 partners. And when you look inside the winery, you see the trunk of the tree, and then you see the top, which is open with water, right? And then you see around the inside of the winery 8 branches, which also represent the 8 partners,
8 friends,
8 friends from Mexico City who came and started this winery or invested in the winery.
Invested in the winery.
And the top insulates the winery.
Water, the water is however deep.
Yeah.
And it acts as an insulation. And as you walk around coming down the spiral ramp, you can feel the degrees dropping as you're walking down into the cellar level. And
everything in there is recycled for the most part, I believe. They have taken old recycled metal and they built staircases and they built tables. I mean, even the table we sat at was so cool. So cool that we sat at with the winemaker, with Lulu, which was amazing.
Before we talk about that,
you don't like when I jump ahead. You like to tell
because you're talking about all the reclaimed stuff they're using. One of the most fascinating things I saw in there, their beams were made out of railroad tracks. Yeah, their railroad tracks were their beams inside, and
so cool.
And inside this octagonal shape, you have this other octagonal that is inside where the aging room is, and it's all these beams. I was like, that's like they literally use. I think mostly reclaimed stuff.
I believe that's what he said, that they've used mostly reclaimed stuff. So
we walked in, we were greeted by Soler, who was the guy who gave us the tasting before. We had met Lulu before on our previous visit.
Quick meeting.
It was a quick meeting because the partners were
she
there.
was there. She was there entertaining the partners and tasting them on probably on some new wines that they were, aging and
Right.
tasting and that kind of
But
stuff.
she
So
came, introduced herself
sure
the time
did.
before, and
Yep.
sat with us for a couple of minutes,
Mhm.
and this that. So when we came back, it was like hello again, and we started our tasting without her
Mhm.
because she was in a meeting with the exporter with Tom Bracamonte. So she's in a meeting with the exporter, and we get through maybe 2 wines, and then in comes Tom and Lulu.
Right. And boy, is she, number one, she's full of energy. Number two, she is so knowledgeable. It's incredible. And she has such a passion for the region, for the area. She is from that area.
Yes.
She went to work in France, correct?
When we're friends, can we talk about the plan A, plan B?
Not
Before,
yet.
not yet. Okay,
No,
not yet.
let's
Okay.
talk about
Okay,
Lulu
okay,
first
okay,
and her
okay.
experience.
So
and
she's
what
from Ensenada.
done.
She's a native.
She's a native, and
Her father
she
owned a vineyard.
still, I believe they
Yeah, so
still
he
own a
grew
vineyard.
grapes. So
Yeah.
didn't make wine, but he grew grapes, I
Yeah.
believe.
And she came back to the region after working in France for 9 years to bring back to the area because she saw huge potential in Valle de Guadalupe.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many wineries she actually makes wine or consults with, but it is quite a number.
She definitely does for Palafox.
Yes.
Jaime Palafox.
Mhm.
Jaime went to Bordeaux and asked around. He goes, I'm looking for a winemaker. And he knew her and her family
Mhm.
prior to her leaving. So he's asking around Bordeaux for a winemaker. And they said, well, there's this hotshot Mexican girl that's here
Yeah.
that and he's like,
Lulu?
I came all the way to
Yeah.
Bordeaux, France to hire a winemaker
Yeah.
when I already know who she is
Yeah.
and know the family. So he thought it was very odd. We met with Jaime too while we were down there. So
there's so many interweaving parts of this area.
Yep.
And of course of Lulu, who is amazing. So
she came back,
Mhm.
went with Henri Lurton
Yes.
at the beginning with the 2 brothers.
Mhm.
Because she was working for Contiac in Margaux, which is a very famous estate, chateau, and she started that project. Bruma opened, they started making wine, I think in 2015, 16, 17, I'm not sure. The whole property is about 8 years old or something. Then they started making wine, and so I'm not sure when their first vintage came out, but it's definitely within the last 8 years.
Mhm.
She's been there, I think, 4 years making wine, and she was not the first winemaker.
No.
They had hired a winemaker. We don't know who it is. They had hired a winemaker, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. Don't know. Didn't hear anything good or bad, but it didn't work out. So plan B was, there's 2 plan Bs here, because she went to France to study international law
Right.
as a law student, not to be a winemaker.
Not to be a winemaker.
But she fell in love.
She wanted to learn the process, I believe, right? Which is why she went to
France. So I don't know if she stopped, dropped out, did what, never went to law school.
So her plan A was to be a lawyer, but her plan B is now making wine and doing what she's doing in Valle de Guadalupe.
And Bruma had a previous winemaker that didn't work out. So she was plan B. So she's been plan B twice. She's on plan B twice now. She's been married twice. So that would be plan C if she got married again, right?
But so, when you think of the name plan B, you definitely don't think of your plan A in life and your plan B in life. But it's interesting how that was the format around this wine, the name of this wine. And I find that interesting because our joke, I think the whole rest of the trip was, what was your plan A and what's your plan B? And so Marcus kept saying, I hope I'm not plan A and you have a plan B.
Right.
Like we were joking.
The joke is that we've been together so long, but we're still on plan A. We're still on plan A. It's like, I hope there's on a lot of plans. I hope there's not plan B coming, and we're still on plan A, right?
Yeah.
So that was a joke for the trip. But Jim asked her a very important question. What do you like about wine?
Yeah.
Remember that question?
I do.
Remember what she said?
It's the relationships. It's the how you grow the wine. It's how your experiences and your everything.
She went on. She rambled on along. She rambled on along, and she felt like, and we were like almost teary-eyed with this answer.
Yeah.
She goes, my father told me.
Oh yeah, I like this.
My father told me.
We've been drinking a lot of wine at that point.
My father told me that to marry somebody who likes wine.
Yeah, that's right. Marry somebody
who loves wine.
Yeah.
Because wine, people who drink wine, who appreciate wine, appreciate good food, appreciate culture, appreciate art, appreciate life. And there's something about a wine lover, a wine drinker that rounds them out as a perfect mate. So he goes, people that truly love to live, if you're from the wine culture, find somebody from your own culture. Find people that love to live, that love wine, that love culture, that love that. And
what a great answer to that question, right? And I love that she used her father as an example. I love how she just knew the answer right away.
Right.
Right.
She just knew the answer right away.
Yeah, she just went with
She goes,
it.
my father once told me.
Yeah.
And then she went on and on. We're like, oh my gosh, wow. Like this is what you love about wine. And of course, we told the story about we're getting ready to leave from Mexico 2 days before, and we're standing there looking at our wine rack.
Yeah.
And we're looking at all these bottles of wine. And I said to you, I said, look, that bottle there, that every one of these bottles has a story.
Representation.
Represent a story.
A memory.
Of just like this situation here of all 8 of us sitting around, 6 of us sitting around, breaking bread and sharing a story. I said, that is what makes this whole thing complete, is the lifetime memories that we just created in this room right here. And I'm going back and editing the videos. We have tons of videos, 64 gig of videos I filmed in Mexico, and I didn't even have the drone because the drone wasn't working, but I filmed a lot. And going back and listening to that time that we had there, not only at Bruma, but at all the wineries. I'm only on day 2 right now. Everything is like, these are lifetime memories. The people, the friends we're meeting, the friends we're seeing again, everything is lifetime memories here. And it's just amazing. And that's what she was getting at. That there's a culture around wine lovers that, are different than other people, that when you get together, things happen. And the friendship of wine lovers is above and beyond the
100%.
friendship of a beer lover versus a whiskey lover, like mixing a beer lover and a whiskey lover, mixing a wine lover and a beer lover. There's just something different about the whole culture, the whole allure and the reality. And we were all sitting there like, yeah, we've just made great friends. We're with the great friends. We're making new friends, and we're enjoying this moment together. And it's just great.
And that's what our whole trip was about. This trip, especially this trip, was, we've never really brought, besides guests of the restaurant that we've made through the restaurant, our friends Jim and Shannon, are friends we made because of the restaurant, but not through the restaurant. And we've been to their restaurant, they've been to our restaurant, but we've never experienced anything like this with them. And it was a great relationship builder for us with them, right. But also they are experiencing a different relationship on their traveling and where they are. And, Jim made a comment like, boy, I really didn't know much about wine. And now I feel like I know a lot more about wine just from drinking it in that region.
I can enjoy it better.
And I can enjoy it more. And like I said, this wine is great, right? Plan B is great, but it's better sitting there in the winery, experiencing it because of that relationship that you're building, right? Does that make sense?
There's nothing
like sitting in a winery with an owner, a winemaker, talking about their wine, breaking bread, drinking with them.
Talking about their passion.
Exactly.
Their passion. So Lulu is very outspoken.
Very.
And some people in the Valley don't quite like her because she's outspoken. She's not really the new kid on the block because she's from there and her family's from the grape industry to begin with. But she brought back these styles from France or has her own opinions now based upon what she did in France, based on what she's doing there. And she is breaking some of the rules that she couldn't do in France, right? Well, so she does not like used barrels. She's very adamant, no used barrels. I use the barrels once, twice, 3 times the most. And I don't understand why winemakers are using for a 4th, 5th, and 6th time. I would rather take the staves of wood, and soak new charred oak into stainless steel. And if you mention that to a Frenchman, he's like, oh, you can't do that. You need the barrel, you need the barrique, And she's like, no.
Valle doesn't have rules when it comes to winemaking.
The traditions
are not set in stone like you have
in Italy
and all of
Spain, France.
These cultures that have been making wine for so long.
Right.
Even though Mexico's been making wine a really long time, you don't have those rules like you have in those countries,
in old world
in
countries,
old world,
old
yeah.
world countries, because when you're in Barolo making wine in Piemonte,
you
can't differ.
Yeah.
You can't all of a sudden say, I'm going to use oak planks and start putting, they're like, no, because you'll be declassified,
Right.
and you can't call your wine what it
Right,
should be called,
right.
and you're not going to be able to sell it for what it should be sold for unless you're a great marketer and can perceive a better value. You're going to be downgraded, declassified, and a lot of winemakers are afraid to be declassified. There are no classifications in Mexico, and
which makes it so fun. It makes the winemakers, it makes them
expressive.
think and expressive on how they grow their grapes, how they put love into their grapes, how they
age
put
it,
the wine into the bottle.
And the biggest thing is how they mix the varietals together. What varietals are in here again?
So Grenache,
okay,
Mourvedre, Merlot, Malbec, and Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay, so that's a blend that could happen in the old world, realistically. But when you start mixing Tempranillo and Nebbiolo and Merlot, you're like, where did that come from?
Or we had Chardonnay, Chenin Blanc, and Sauvignon Blanc, didn't we, or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, these styles, you just don't have them. That you don't have them ever, really.
Right, right. In old world wines,
but
you can do it in California because we don't have those kind of classifications. But in Mexico, they're just like, you know what?
So
let's experiment. And the grapes are different. The grapes are different because
they don't taste the same because the terroir is not the same.
You grow Mourvedre in Mexico versus France, it's different.
It's like
same
Nebbiolo,
grape.
right?
Nebbiolo.
I don't like Nebbiolo from Italy. Like I don't like Barolo. I don't like Brunello, right? Brunello,
Sangiovese, Brunello.
I don't like that, but it's so
the Barolos, the Nebbiolo there is different than the Nebbiolo in Italy.
Yeah.
And they actually call it Mexican Nebbiolo.
Yeah.
It's much riper, it's a bit deeper, it's richer. So it's different. It's warm weather Nebbiolo.
Yeah.
So
opposed to cold, right?
Up in Italy, up in the northern area. So Bruma is one of the most iconic wineries there, even though it's 8 years old. We had just on our previous trip, we just missed Mel Gibson by a day or so. He was just there. The famous Mexican boxer was just there. It attracts the celebrities, the allure of it.
Well, it's just very unique and different. I mean, it's amazingly unique and different. And the restaurant they have there is.
Well, this is what I was getting into next.
Yeah. The restaurant.
Most wineries have great restaurants.
They sure do.
They have really great restaurants. But when you have the #1 rated restaurant in all of Mexico in your winery, it elevates you a bit more. We had the tasting menu. They said it was 6 courses, which it was 6 courses, but some of the courses were 4 different plates.
Yeah.
And then one course would be like 3 different plates.
Bites, yeah.
There were little bites, but it was one course. We had a clam dish, we had an oyster dish, we had an octopus dish, and then we had whatever else dish, tuna. So there was 4 dishes within one course. And after the first one, you looked at the waiter and said, how many more courses we have?
I said, is this 4 courses?
This 4 courses. He's like, you have 6 courses. You have 5 more rounds coming out.
Right. Yeah.
One of the rounds was sorbet, which is fine. And then, but the dessert, we had 4 different desserts and
2 different
desserts.
Yeah.
But the last savory dish, we had like 3 different. We had lamb burritos, lamb tacos. It was amazing. All these different things, and they paired it up with beverages, which we
had a beer. We had 2 wines or 3 wines, and a cocktail.
Yeah.
Espresso martini.
Yeah. And
it was outside. Most of the restaurants in Mexico are outside.
They're open air. They're open.
And interestingly enough, they don't open if it's raining out. And it rains very rarely there. And while we were there, we had a drizzle one day and we had rain another day. And some of the wineries, some of them were inside, or they have a tasting room inside, and their restaurants were closed for the day.
Right. The one winery we went to, she goes, oh, you could have gone to our restaurant today. And the owner's daughter was like, it's raining out. I don't know if our restaurant's open today because the rain.
They didn't know. Yeah.
And then she didn't open because of the rain, but they normally have a restaurant there. And that restaurant, she was like, Marcus, when your guests come here in April, we're going to have an oyster reception of all kinds of seafood. We'll have oysters. Yeah. We'll pop open our bubbly champagne.
Oh, which was so good.
Yes.
That was a Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, and
Chenin Blanc.
Yeah,
that was a blind
bottle
condition. We can't get that wine in New York yet. We can't get it.
We might try to request it.
Their Chardonnay that they only made 300 cases of.
Yeah.
That Chardonnay was brilliant. But that's in a whole nother different winery. That's a whole different experience.
But, again, it goes back to relationship building, continuously building them. And this is a tough job that we do. We have to go and we have to taste wine, and
taste
we have
wine,
to meet people and go eat dinner, and oh my gosh, but we'd love for people to join us. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's why we do it. We do it because we love the experience, and we want to bring those experiences to other people. And I feel 100% proud and blessed that we are able to bring these experiences to anybody who wants to travel with us.
Exactly.
I really feel blessed because it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And, again, those memories are priceless.
I spoke to one of the Mexican importers today, wine importers. There's only a handful in the US that import Mexican wines, and our one local one here. He's like, Marcus, what you guys are doing, because I explained the whole trip to him. He goes, what you guys are doing is so amazing. He goes, I actually want to accompany you on your trip. When you're there in April, I want to meet you there. So, we can go to the wineries that I represent. And because I want to experience what you guys are doing.
It's a totally different experience. I think you can surely go to wineries, right? You can
That's easy. That's
definitely
easy part.
Go to wineries and sit down, get your 4 or 5 tastes, find out what's in the wine, but never have that experience or that love. I mean, the love that goes into this bottle, any bottle of wine, you don't even really know.
But the love needs to happen on the other end too.
Of course.
The one place we went to that we were staying overnight, they had a big tour there. They had 70 people there from National Geographic. And we know the winery. We've been there. We love the winery owner. We love her to death. I mean, it's great. We connected with her great last time. But they were busy when we got there, and we checked into our room there, and she knew we were coming, but she's busy running around. And so we're fine on our own, but we get a tasting. So the person who checks us in doesn't really know who we are. They know we're friends of the owner and this and that, but
I don't think they really knew that.
She goes, in the winery, no. But the person who checked us in, yes.
Yeah.
So they send us to the winery's closed because they have 70 people in there and it's raining outside, drizzling. So they send us to the wine shop to do our tasting, which really isn't a tasting room. We get there, and all of a sudden people start pouring in from National Geographic from the tour. And all of a sudden we're like, we're here to do our tasting. And they're like, can you go outside? And we're like, it's cold outside. It's like 55 degrees. We don't want to sit outside. No. And so they clear off one of the tables where they have merchandise on, and they're trying to come over and speak to us while everything's happening.
There's way too many people around.
And we love the wine. And Jim and Shannon, who we're with, were like, I could tell he's like,
I don't like this wine.
He's like, I don't like the wine. I could tell he didn't like the wine. And I didn't like the experience at all. I almost told her, I said, you know what, we're just going to taste later, forget about it. And she brought over all the wine, and then they brought over a little cheese and cracker plate, right? They brought over cheese and bread, right? And people that are on the tour are looking at it, and they're like, is that a communal plate?
No, they started grabbing from it.
Oh, they started grabbing.
Just
grabbing from our plate.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, there's people we don't know grabbing off of our plate. And we're like,
it wasn't the experience that we were hoping for, because we love this winery and we love their wines. And so it wasn't the experience. And it was only, I think, it was our second day, and it was only like our third winery that we went to, or fourth winery. Yeah.
This is like 5 o'clock now.
No, we had gone to a few wineries previously that day, right? And the experiences were like
right, amazing,
amazingly
mind blowing.
Yeah.
So now we go back into the little courtyard, and in the courtyard we see the owner. She comes and hugs us and this and that, and she goes, "We're having dinner together tonight." And we were like, "Oh, great!" She goes, she brings us in.
Table.
She brings us inside the big living room there, and she goes, "That table's set up for us.
We're gonna light a fire.
6:30, and her assistant comes out and she goes, let's do 6 o'clock. And we're like, 6 o'clock is perfect. We're kind of hungry. So then we sat down with her, and
they're pouring us wine.
They're pouring us wine, and she's telling stories. And our friends, Jim and Shannon, were like, is this the same wine that we had an hour ago?
And it was.
I'm like, is this the same wine? He's like, totally different experience in our flavor perception based upon the environment that we were in.
100%.
So the winemaker can put all the love into the bottle that they're willing to do, in the passion. But if you're not in the right frame of mind, the wrong environment, the love has to circle around.
Sure does.
The appreciation has to come back to, okay, we're in a great place right now, our environment, you and me, and it's not something that we're chugging out of a glass, out of a paper cup, trying to run to catch, a taxi or a train or whatever, or in an airport, chugging something down to catch our plane, right? You have to enjoy the moment and understand what has gone into this. And
well, it's not just what's in here. It's what's all around.
all
you.
around.
It's what's in the vineyard, how the vines are planted, seeing the vines, seeing the roots, seeing the water, seeing the people. It's everything. It is from the bottom up. I mean, it really.
So when I run in the morning on the vineyards, I say hello to everybody out there, because I get up all the workers are out there. I get up early and I'm out there for sunrise. When we're in Mexico, I've not missed one sunrise for the 2 weeks we've been there. The 2 times. Did I miss one?
Yeah, on the beach, but it's okay. It wasn't in
the beach, that's right. But in the vineyards,
no, I'm joking.
I've caught every sunrise out running, and in sunrise, they're already out there working.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, hola, buenos dias, and everybody's so friendly. Like I'm in the middle of the vineyard running, where people normally don't walk. Hola, buenos dias, and they're out there with the dogs and everything. Buenos dias, buenos dias. And it's just like, wow, you're around a bunch of great people.
Yeah,
so,
it's amazing. I mean, the people are just absolutely amazing.
So Italy's fantastic. Italy's amazing. Spain was okay. Italy's amazing. New York,
There's
we know a lot of great winery owners in New York. We know a lot of great ones, but when you go to Mexico, the hospitality in Mexico is you're automatically an amigo. You're automatically their friend. And part of the reason I believe this is because they're appreciative people are going there instead of Napa Valley, instead of Santa Barbara, instead of Yakima, instead of France, instead of Italy. People are going to an unknown wine region that's producing amazing wine that could use all the help they need to be able to, support their love and passion, and they're appreciative that you chose them.
So I'd like to bring it around to us and Aroma Thyme, because people always say to us, we feel like we're in your living room. We feel like we're in your house. And I think that's part of why we love those relationship building things so much, because we love to do it here at the restaurant, we love to experience it when we're out, that we automatically just bring it back here with us. And we've been doing that for years. We want to build a relationship with you. If you walk in and you don't know anything about wine, ask us, we'll tell you.
I'll tell you.
If you don't know anything about behind the bar, ask us, we'll tell you.
I'll tell you.
Tequila, whatever it is, vodka, whatever it is, we'll tell you about it. And again, it's about relationships. And we love to build relationships with our guests. We love to build relationships with anybody, really.
The producers, everybody, our salespeople, everybody. When salespeople walk into the door, I want to consider them my friend.
Yeah.
If I can't consider a salesperson my friend,
I don't want to
do business with you. I don't want to do business. I'll find another distributor, or I'll ask that distributor, please send me another salesperson, because I need a friend. I don't need a salesperson. I don't need.
We're gonna buy from you if we like you.
Right.
If we don't like you, we're not gonna buy from you.
Not gonna buy from you.
We don't feel like we don't want to be sold. We want to buy good things, and we want that relationship.
We love to buy, but we don't want to be sold.
Right. Exactly.
So, all right, folks, that's enough. We're going to finish our
delicious plan B.
Plan B. We were going to save this half of it for tomorrow night. I'm not sure that's going to happen. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
It's episode number 30. It's not Plan A, it's Plan B. And they have other wines that are not named Plan B. The state of Wisconsin or Michigan or whatever, the importer said that the one distributor will not bring in it because it's named Plan B. He goes, I just can't bring it in because it's named Plan B.
But if they knew the story behind
they knew the story,
but
I
understand she has a bunch of wines with lots of cool names. And so those will probably in the future be on our list, and we'll bring some of them.
I already ordered the Casa Yippee.
Oh, you did?
Casa Yippee is on its way.
Oh.
Casa Yippee, which is their fun line of wines.
Yeah.
A couple dollars less a bottle.
Well, we'll have to talk about that, because that has another story behind it.
That is a whole nother story.
So once we get the Casa Yippee in, we'll talk about that. We'll open a bottle. I don't know if you got white or the rosé.
I got the white and the red.
Oh.
And I got Henri
You didn't get the rosé.
They didn't have the rosé available in New York. These wines, folks, wines when they come into New York, like we bought this wine when it arrived in New York. 2 weeks later, I look at the inventory from the distributor and it's gone already.
God.
It's gone. The distributor literally messages me. Such little of this wine comes into New York.
Yeah.
They
1,
messaged
2,
me and
3,
said, like, one pallet will have 20 different wines on it, and there's like 4 cases of each. So when they come in, it's like we have to snag them
Jump
up
on
right
it.
away.
Yeah.
And when they say Casa Yippie's in, white and red, no rosé, you buy the white and red.
Yeah.
I actually bought Henri Lurton's orange wine. I bought a few bottles because I wanted to have something totally different and obscure.
Okay.
So there's 3 bottles of Henri Lurton.
Not my favorite.
The orange wine, not my
Not my
favorite either,
favorite.
but we do every now and then get a request for an orange bottle of wine. So it's on the more natural side. We'll talk about that in a different episode.
Sounds good.
So, but I have 3 bottles coming in. We'll see what happens. I figured we'll at least open one for a wine dinner, so
Well,
people can experience orange wine.
Yeah.
And that's the best way through our wine dinners, is the way people experience this stuff. Because you would never go into a restaurant and say, I want a bottle of, you might say a bottle of orange wine, but you would never say I want a bottle of orange Mexican
I think
wine.
people order natural wine and they think it's orange, but that's again another story. But
yeah,
we do these amazing wine dinners, and we include these amazing wines. So yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Visit us VIPWineryVacations.com. Follow us on Instagram. Come visit us at Aroma Thyme in Ellenville, New York, 165 Canal Street. Aroma Thyme, THYME Bistro.com. Follow us on Instagram there, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And folks, lifetime memories are not optional.
Cheers.